I know I say it all the time, but this pattern is a new fast favorite. Hi, my name is Kim, and we are doing the autumn jumper today by Lowland Kids. Here are all of the pattern pieces you'll be needing for this pattern. There's 2 front bodice pieces, 2 back bodice pieces. There are sleeves, there's pockets, there's 2 front pockets and 2 back pockets, and then 2 front pants or 2 back pants and 2 back pants, or 2 skirt pieces, just depending on which version you are doing. All right, let's start off by assembling the bodice. We are going to just start by putting the front pieces and the back pieces right sides together. You want to make sure that you can line up the shoulder seam, and that's the first part we're going to sew. In this pattern, I'll be using a serger for a lot of the things, but if you don't have a serger, you can always just go do a zigzag stitch or some other stretch stitch that you prefer. So once that is done, and you want to make sure you do it for both the liner and the front piece, then we're going to open them up and place them right sides together, just lining up that neckline. Now, if you're not doing the V, you can just sew the neck all the way around and skip to the next step. But if you are doing the V, then the first thing you're going to do is right at the V point, we're going to just sew it on the sewing machine, a straight stitch, a small V, there's a picture of it shown on the instructions, and you can see how I'm doing it here. This is just going to stabilize that V and also create a space we can clip it. So it'll look like a V when you turn it all inside out. So, yep, you can just see I'm just doing a little straight stitch here. It's like maybe 2 inches on either side. Once it is sewn, then take your scissors and just clip straight into the V. Be sure not to let your scissors go over the stitch point. You really don't want to clip past it at all. So just do that little clip, and then you can take this neckline to the serger. I'm going to go from the bottom of the V up and all the way down and around. You can kind of see how I'm splitting it open a little bit. It makes it easier, just a cleaner finish overall. And just go ahead and serge it. You can see it kind of looks like there's a earthquake or something happening. That serger is powerful. If you are using a serger, be sure to finish off the tails securely. So do something like tying them off or whatever. You don't want that to unravel. Okay, so once you have sewn it all the way around the neckline, we are going to flip everything right sides out as shown, as I'm trying to do anyway. If you are doing the tank version, then this next step is for you. I'm just going to show you because I'm not doing the tank version, but what you're going to do is do something called the burrito method. You roll up one side and then pull the other sides around it so you can make them go right sides together and sew along the curve, and then you'll just pull it apart and do the same thing on the other side. Hopefully that example helped you. And once that's done, then next you're going to be putting right sides together. It will kind of fold up, and when you have it in place, this is what it's going to look like. You're just trying to do those side seams, lining them up and everything. And so I'm just trying to show you what it will look like, even though mine's not sewn that way at the moment. But there's more examples of it, pictures of what I'm trying to show in the instructions if this video doesn't help you see how it's supposed to go. Okay, now if you are doing sleeves, then just line them up as normal like this, where the right side the back side and front side are just kind of separated, and then pull out your sleeves. And first we're going to hem them, whether you're doing long sleeves or short sleeves, doesn't matter, just hem them about 3/4 of an inch. And once they're nice and hemmed, then we're going to place them into the bodice. So I'm first going to open up the bodice so it's kind of laying flat, and then take each sleeve, fold them in half so you can find the center point. I just like to stick a pin in it, and then place it right side together on the seam. So I'm flipping it up and over to make them be right sides together. And I typically like to pin the center point and like the sides. So I'll just kind of pull it around, stick a pin in there, and then pull it around to the other side and stick a pin in there. And then I'll serge that on as well. You'll know you have it all lined up right if it kind of looks like almost a 3D rainbow curve there. So go ahead and do that to both sides. Here are my sleeves completed. The next step is to put everything right sides together, fold it back in half, and then we're just going to do the side seams from the end of the sleeve all the way down to the side seam, just through the side seam. And I like to often pin where the seams match up in the armpit. So once that's finished, you'll do some finishing touches on the sleeve there. It's good to fold it down, do a little zigzag stitch to tack down the serged edge or the serged tail, and then open it up and do a straight stitch over the seam just to help it lay flat. I often do this at the very end, not in the middle, so that's why I'm just going to set it to the side. Okay, so once that's done, the next step is to pull out the pants, and we're going to work on the pockets here. So where you have that little like cutout on the side, get your pocket piece that also has that same cutout. And the purpose of my blue tape was to help you be able to understand which side is the right side, so you can understand how you're placing these. So you're going to put the one that also has the pocket piece that has the cutout right side down on top of the pant so that they're right sides together with the other cutout. And first you're going to sew along that curved edge on both sides. Just want to make a note, that's the front pocket piece and the front pant piece that you're putting together. So after that pocket is attached, then you're going to flip it behind so that the wrong sides are together, and you're going to top stitch as shown here, just right along that curve. I did it on an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I also pinned it down in place just to make sure that it wasn't going to flip up at all. That's just your own preference. And of course, be sure to back stitch. But yeah, so 1/8 of an inch is kind of on the inside of the presser foot. You will see a better angle of what I did when I turn it like this. Whenever I'm working with knits and I'm doing top stitching, I also like to increase the length of my stitch. I just find that it works better, like my machine doesn't, I don't know, eat the fabric as much. So I like to do 3.2 length. Okay, so when that's done and looking nice and pretty, I'm going to flip the pant pieces so that the wrong side is up. As you can see, that front pocket piece at the right side is facing up. Now I'm going to take the back pocket piece and put it right sides together with the front pocket piece. You'll know that you've placed it the right way if the curves all line up correctly, so just make sure that lines up well. And then we're going to stitch along the that curve line all the way down. Just all the way down, not on the straight side at all, just the round side. Now we're going to take one front and one back pant piece and place them right sides together, and we're going to sew the outside seam and also the inseam, and repeat this with both sides. I guess the instructions say to hem the bottoms next by 3/4 of an inch, but I guess I left that till the end, so do that later or you can do it first. But I'm going to be taking one of the pant pieces and making it the wrong side out and the other pant piece right side out, and then put them inside each other so that they are right sides together. So you want the one that's right side out to go inside the one that is wrong side out. And now I'm just lining them up so that the crotch seam, I guess like the inseams match up, and then also the corners on either side. And you're going to sew, it's like another kind of rainbow horseshoe shape. You're going to sew all along that, and that is the crotch seam right there, all along there. Next, we're going to flip it so that all the right sides are out as this is shown, and we're going to do a gathering stitch along the top there. I'm just going to lay out my bodice so you know about this is how much it needs to gather up. I'm going to use my serger to my gathering stitch. I'm going to go ahead and serge all the way around and also eventually do your hems. 3/4 of an inch. I actually ended up leaving mine a raw hem because I really liked the way that looked, but that's personal preference. All right, so here's a hopefully up close look of how I gather using my serger. So first you have to have all the settings set up on your serger to make it gather, and you can see that it gathered a little bit already, but you'll have to pull it in a little bit more. So first I'm going to find the center front and the center back of my bodice, and I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom pants. And my purpose for doing that is so that as I'm pulling those gathers together, I am gathering equally all the way around so that the front doesn't have more gathers than the back. So once my pins are in, then I'm going to put this together, right sides together. So I'm actually going to put the pants inside out and then put the top in with that it's right side out, so that it's right sides together as I set it inside. And I'm going to match up the side seams and then the front center and back center. And then as I go to gather, I'll just be gathering it until everything matches up. So when you're gathering on a serger, the first thing you need to do is figure out which threads are the straight lines and which ones are the loopers that are going up and over. So I found the straight lines, and I'm just going to kind of gently unpick them. And I'm going to do that on both ends, like the tail that started it and the tail that ended it of those threads. So you can kind of tell which ones are straight, but I don't know. If you have a hard time, maybe like look up a picture that can show you closer, because I guess this isn't the closest view. But once you have those pulled out, then you're going to grab the two threads going in one of the directions, hold on tight, and then just kind of pull it and tighten up pull it so that you are gathering it more. And I like to gather from both ends, and so that's why I unpicked from both ends. So you can see I just kind of pull onto the fabric to like scoot it down. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm like scooting it down, but you hold the threads tight, and then you kind of scoot and pull, and just gather it up. One of the reasons I've really enjoyed gathering using my serger is because it does those two lines of gathering stitches at the same time. If one breaks, then you have another as backup, and you don't have to go around it twice, and so it just kind of saves time. And now I'm also gonna, so you can see that I'm gathering it here. I'm trying to see and gauge how much I need to gather it so that it matches up with the bodice. That's the goal. You want them to be the same. It doesn't take a ton of gathering, but it does take, you know, obviously I have to do some. So just gather it up until it matches up, and then I'm just going to do the whole front section here, and then you'll see I'll do the other threads to do the back section. Once the pants look like they're matching up with the bodice nicely, then you can go ahead and serge all the way around. But sometimes I do like to take it to my sewing machine first and just do it on the longest, like do a baste stitch. So that's what I did this time. And then I have this 1/4 inch elastic that I'm going to just kind of eyeball how much I need. I want it to mostly match up, maybe with slight stretch, like maybe I'll stretch it slightly as I go, slightly smaller. So I just measured where I wanted it and attached it. Now I'm so sorry, I meant to record this and I guess it didn't record, but I just did it on the serger with my knife disengaged. And here is the final outcome. It turned out so cute. I love this. It's going to be perfect for fall. But honestly, the shorts and the dress version, you can use that any time of year. So this pattern is awesome. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please comment below. Otherwise, you have a great day, and follow me on social media if you want to see more. Come Create with Kim. See you next time.